have to. You're gonna have to get some sort of relationship with your godly understanding. I told you whose ours is. You're gonna have to. You can't wait to try to start it later. You're gonna need to start developing that now. When my husband was in the program, one thing he did was he had a routine. He got up and he prayed and he read. And at a certain time, by 5 o'clock in the morning, he's up doing this. When he left the program, it's been what, 10 years?
Yeah.
He's still that structure that he set then, and that routine that he set then, he still does it. Because this is something you're not going to be able to face through. This is a battle that you really going to have to fight. And you're going to have to train yourself for the battle. So you're going to have to get some sort of relationship. That's the one thing about minor justice that we can't give you. We can't give you your relationship. You got to do that. And it's not a relationship that you can have with another person. It's you with the person the thing that created you, your maker. You got to this is how you're going to fight your battle. I'm telling you. You're going to have to develop a relationship and a prayer life. Because you're going to need it when you leave here. That's why this song is so powerful. I love this song. You guys are familiar with this song? Listen to it. This is how I fight my battle. You turn it up a little bit. How I fight my battle. I'm gonna ask you to stand with me. Stand. I know you might not feel like it. You might be a Saturday, you want to chill, but when you was out there running, you had mad energy.
I'm surrounded by you.
Give yourself a chance. Listen to it.
I'm surrounded, but I'm surrounded by you. It may look like I'm surrounded, but I'm surrounded by you. It may look like I'm surrounded, but I'm surrounded by you.
Come on, guys.
This is how I fight my battles. This is how I fight my battles. This is how I fight my battles.
There you go.
This is how I fight my battles. 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 You're going to have to fight them. You're going to have to fight. But I'm surrounded by you. I'm surrounded by you. This is how I fight my battles. 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 Woo! This is how I fight. This is how I fight my battle. This is how I fight. This is how I fight my battle. This is how I fight my battle. This is how I fight my battle. You gotta fight.
We on page 53, gentlemen. I really appreciate all y'all participation. And yeah, you gotta remember, this is the fight, man. We got it in us. We're gonna have to fight though. It's not gonna be easy. So we on page 53. We're gonna read. It says, if you are going to get something you never got, you will have to do something you never did. Mr. Williams said that the first time he used a chainsaw, he will cut everything in sight. He will cut the trees that were standing up, lying down in the dirt or wherever. But the chain will get dull quick. He will get in shape, get it sharpened, and start to cut some more. But the same thing will happen. The chain will get dull again. Then this older gentleman told him that the reason why his chain is getting dull is because he keeps letting it hit the dirt. So he learned that to make it work how it was designed to, he had to make some minor adjustments. And that's literally about when I grew up in Atlantic City, New Jersey, and we never really used chainsaws. If you ask me about a deck of cards, I'd probably tell you a few things. But chainsaws, cutting down trees, Atlantic City, we didn't. The first time I used it, I was like 30-some years old. But when I noticed that when I used the chainsaw, I was cutting the trees, and the tree would be laying down in the dirt, and I'm cutting it in the dirt with the dirt and everything. And the job that I had to go to the finance department to get money to get the chain sharpened. And I was going like every day. And they was like, you need money to get the chain sharpened again? What are you doing? And I'm like, cutting the trees, y'all told me. They said, take me to where you cutting and show us what you're doing. So I got trees on the ground. I'm cutting the dirt, sand. They was like, no, you don't put the chain in the dirt. I was like, wow. They was like, So I had to learn. I had to make some adjustments. I did not know. And that's the same thing in our lives what we have to do. Some of the things we are doing, we did not know, but we know now. We know now, we are aware of it. So I just had to make some adjustments. I stopped putting the chain in the dirt. Next thing I know, I cut down more trees than I was getting the chain sharpened every other week. I was taking every other day. They was like, you need to go get it sharpened again? I'm like, yeah. They said, what are you doing? And I was putting the chain in the dirt. And a simple adjustment allowed me to change that situation. The word minor means lesser as in size, extent, importance of being, or noting the lesser of the two. What's minor for you to change in your life, but it seems hard? That's a question. Who? Anybody else?
Person, places, and things.
Wow. It seems hard. It's minor, but it seems hard. Anybody else?
Follow instructions.
Perspective.
Huh?
Perspective.
Living in the moment.
Living in the moment. Remember that the chance of recovery is good if there is a total commitment by the person, a complete lifestyle change. If there's a total commitment by the individual, then the recovery process is basically going to be a smooth process. Smooth not meaning you won't have any obstacles. You will have them, but it will be a smooth transition if you have a total commitment to it. Like I'm not just motivated. Remember I said motivation versus dedication. I'm committed to it. When you're committed to the change process, it will be a smooth process. But if you're not sure this week, yeah, I'm gonna go all in this week. No, it won't work like that. You have to be totally committed. Why didn't you take heed to the advice that you was given, or the advice that was given to you? Because somebody told you before you got here, somebody told you about using and committing some type of crime. Why you think you didn't take heed from the person that tried to stop you from coming back here?
Because I thought I knew better.
Thought I'd be better?
I thought I knew better.
Thought you knew better? What's up? Somebody said ignorant?
I got this, they were wrong.
They was
My ego.
ego. Anybody else? Come on, why you didn't take heed? Because I know somebody tried to warn you before you got here. Somebody told you something that could have prevented it. Why you didn't take heed to that advice?
I can handle it.
I got this. Mine was, it's my own money. I earned this money. Why you worrying about me? I worked all week and that was one of mine. Somebody else. Why you didn't take heed to the advice that you received from someone to stop you from getting here?
Well, for me, it was, I never OD'd. And I just knew it wasn't going to happen.
I never always did. That's a good one. So I ain't listening to your advice because I ain't never OD'd from the drug. Wow, that's tough. That's good. Let's see. What minor work have you done on the inside? Listen to me. The inside meaning two different things. This is a two-part thing. When I say what minor work have you done on the inside, I'm talking about you and here. What minor work have you done? Since you've been here, what have you done? What minor work have you done in meaning change since in here? What have you changed? And what have you changed since you've been here?
My way of thinking.
Way of thinking, that's here. What about here?
Avoiding negativity.
Avoiding negativity. About you changed your way of thinking overall. And did you change any behavior since you've been here, like inside the home?
I like to think I did.
I mean, it don't gotta be major, it's minor. But you think you
God's way for something I did. I'm still learning.
that's cool.
Those who know me, yes, I can.
Okay. Anybody else? What minor changes have y'all made?
Stop running.
Oh. Said I just said that's it.
When you treat people.
Nice. Who else?
Remember that my investing occurred in this chair. So I've got to start thinking less and listening more.
Thinking less, listening more. What you said?
Focus on the day and not the next day.
Or yesterday.
Stop listening to people and start listening to God.
That's it. Everybody should have something change, some type of changes that you have personally made on inside and outside. Understanding how people change is the first step in changing unhealthy behaviors. When you understand how you change, like for instance, what I mean by understanding how people change, if I try to wait till 10 o'clock at night to start studying, I will do terrible. But if I had to study at 5 in the morning, I'll do great. Why? Because I understand how I know when I study best. So understanding how you change is important. If you understand that you don't change by somebody saying, do this and do this and do this, and it don't work, you might take the process of watching someone and seeing it, and then it'll inspire you to change. You have to learn, understand, how do you change? You change all your life, you change. Growing from the age you was a kid all the way to adult, you change. How did you change? What made you change like that? You have to learn your way of learning how you change. Because if you don't understand how you change, you'll never change anything. And that's not just substance. This is your whole life.
Well, this one is, obviously I got big bad. You understand, I'm a bad guy.
Yeah.
But it's a nature of peace for my choice of people who got power, like what I got. It's a nature of peace for somebody who really get arrested and try to get what they want by being arrested. And I read it off the guy who's bad and me. It made me change to be kind of nicer.
Yeah. He said, I ran for the big bad wolf. No, that was the big bad wolf. That's true. But you know what? That's honest. That's awesome that you can even say that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, some people would probably say, if they wasn't there, they would never knew. Like, if they ain't see it, I ain't telling you. He's honest enough to actually say it. And some people be like, if you wasn't there, you would never know. I remember I was there, you got beat up, man. He was like, nah, you wasn't there, you was there. That's awesome. Why haven't you made the minor changes? This is to the individuals who say they didn't make any minor changes. The question is, why haven't you made the minor changes? This is what I wrote in my book. You should write it in yours. Do you want this same reality, frustration, or problem 6 months from now? If you don't want this same reality, this same frustration 6 months from now, you better make some changes. If you didn't make any changes, 6 months from now, you'll be sitting there like, gotta do this all over again. You didn't have to do it all over again. You choose to do it all over again. Let's see. You want to do the thing? What's important to you? What's important to you? I'm gonna give you this. What is it? For SMART. It's specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. It spells SMART. And you find something that's specific, is measurable, is achievable, is realistic, and is timely. That's just a SMART. Whatever is important to you, make sure it's SMART. Yeah. Make sure it fits into that framework of those that acronym SMART. Specific, you know what it is. It's measurable. You can gauge and see how far you're going, how close you are to it. It's achievable. You can actually achieve it. It's realistic. And it's timely, meaning if you never set a time goal, I'm 10-time published author. Just check my strategy out when I do books. I'm a 10-time published author, and say this is September, this is October. I'll say my 11th book is coming out June 4th. Now, mind you, I didn't even start the book process yet, but I put a time on it. You see how I said? Like my new book coming out June 2nd, June 4th. Now, people are like, well, where you get the date from? I put a time on it. This is important, so now it's timely. Now, I got to do all the other stuff. Why? Because I put a time on it. Like, I got to have it done by that date because I already put it out there that that's the release date of my 11th book. So, you got to make sure you have a time goal on it. Let's see. What minor changes have you made on the outside? What minor changes have you made on the outside? If there's anything on the outside of your program that you can make amends to, or even if you have loved ones and stuff that you have destroyed, have you actually said, I didn't call, I didn't try to contact you with an excuse. I simply called to tell you that I was sorry, or forgive me for that. Hopefully you'll forgive me for that later. Like, that's something on the outside that you can do if possible. Don't do it if you got like a restraining order and stuff. I used to violate my restraining order. They locked me up. She used to follow me though, really. She used to lie. But anyway. She used to violate the restraining order. Yeah, that's what my story I was thinking to. Yeah. They's like, you can't even be around here, but she followed me. But anyway, he's like, I follow him. Do you see how he look, officer? Officers will be like, man, come here. Ain't nobody following you. Who gonna follow you? We'll give you another charge. Oh, that's funny. All right, let's see. What minor changes have you made on the outside? This is not in your book. I'm about to read it. You can change something. You can change something in your life simply by making some minor adjustments. But in order for you to join God in what He is doing, you'll have to make some major adjustments. I'm letting you know now, minor adjustments. We can help you make some minor adjustments. But in order for you to make some major adjustments, in order to you to make major adjustments in what God is doing in your life, that's going to have to take you going straight to God. I won't be able to give you something that God can only give you. I don't even want you to think I can replace it. So put that on record. And I'm not saying, I'm telling y'all, I'm directing y'all to somebody. I'm directing you. If you want to make some major changes, you can go to God.
And just think, when you make minor changes, they accumulate, and it ends up being a major change. Because you done changed like 10 things. You start off with, I remember one time we were in the halfway house, and this guy came up and he said, you know what? I'm a Muslim. I don't know if I was really feeling this thing, but I said, I'm going to try it because you guys said it worked. So he said, I got up every day. He said, first thing he do when he got up, he grabbed his cigarette. Yeah. He said, as soon as I got up, I lit my cigarette. I had to go out and smoke first. He said, and I said, I'm just not going to do it. And he did this for a week. Wow. A couple weeks went by, and he noticed he wasn't waking up better. After a month, he didn't even smoke anymore. So he stood up and he said, I just want to tell you, I tried it, it works. Just something he thought he would never
Never
give
do.
up. I ain't never giving up cigarettes. I'm gonna smoke. He just tried. So if you're somebody to get up every morning, you kick the dog, don't do it. Just say, I'm just not, watch, it will work. Just
Minor.
minor changes. Just minor, and it adds up. Go ahead.
It's funny you say that because the sacrifice that cigarette that God did, we get some, we allowed them out 5:30 in the morning, but some of us here in the morning, and I sacrifice my cigarettes just to go to the gym. At home, at the end of the day, I'm in the gym. You know, I mean, like in the morning, I don't sign out, I'm not going to the gym, but then I sign out, go get breakfast.
You sacrifice smoking and cigarette.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. So you have to do something different to get something you never had before. The reason that his chain kept getting dull is because he kept putting it in the dirt. Now you know that I put it in the dirt last time and I got dull, and I got to go in here and ask for money to go get it sharpened again, and I'm gonna get it sharpened and come back and put it in the dirt again. Something's wrong here. I gotta do something different. And that's one of the things. If you're going to get something you never got, you will have to do something you never did. As long as you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, something positive, your chain will stay sharp. But once you start putting your chain in the dirt, something negative, it'll become dull, and you will have to repeat the same steps over and over and over again. You don't want to do that. 2 questions we had. Do you know the definition of character? Anybody? What do you know what character is? It's real simple.
It's kind of how you're perceived by others. I mean, I can think of myself however I want to, but that's not the reality if I'm still walking around doing all the things and bad habits.
But see, it's not how somebody else sees you, because we can put on airs
Or mask.
and we wear masks. We know how to act in front of certain people. So how they see us is not really our character. Your character is who you are when nobody's looking.
That's integrity, right?
Say, okay. But look, think about a statue in every town. I learned this from Miles Monroe. Think about a statue in every town right now, and everywhere you're from, you know a statue, right? It might be a person on a horse, or it might be whatever, right? It's a statue. My personal best statue is my best friend in Atlantic City named Amanda. He's a boxer, and they have a statue of him. If y'all think about a statue in a town right now, you know exactly what that statue is doing. If you think about the statue doesn't change when it rains. Birds can poop on it. The statue does not change. It remains the same. The statue, that's what character is. You remain the same. But the thing Miles Monroe taught me about that statue, he says, what a lot of people don't understand about that statue is before the statue became to be what it became to be, somebody had to beat on it and chisel it into what it's supposed to be. And that's all the stuff that be happening to us. We've been chiseled on, we've been beat on, and all the stuff that chiseling us and beating on us is trying to get us to be the person we're supposed to be. And when you end up the person that you're supposed to be, all the chiseling and all the beating stops, because now you have character. Now you know, me personally, at this program I was in, they had a stop sign. The program, when I told you they had stupid rules, they had a stop sign next to a wall, okay? Let me give you an example. It was a stop sign like right in front of me, but it was a wall here, and it was like a wall behind me, and you come this way, and you had to go left. So it's a stop sign. So I said, okay, hold on. It's a wall here. It's a wall here. No, meaning no cars can come. If they come, they're gonna come through a wall or a wall. But they had a stop sign here. And you come this way and you can only go that way. When I tell you I used to bust that thing like 50 miles an hour. Wow. Because I thought, why stop? Nothing can hit me here. And nothing can hit, I know it can't. It's a wall this big, concrete. But they have a stop sign here. and I would ride and bust this turn without even stopping. And then my mentor, Chapman's house is one of those windows. So he bring me to the group and he said, Mike. I said, yeah, what's up? They said, you run that stop sign every day. And I said, y'all see me? They said, yeah, we put that there on purpose. And I said, what? They said, that's your character. Would you stop if you knew we was looking? Or would you do what you do? And they taught me about character. They said, your character is, as long as nobody see you, you run the stop sign. Think about recovery. As long as you can sneak and get the drug, nobody see you, you can tell everybody, yo, I didn't use, I'm still 17 years clean, but as long as nobody see you. But your character, my character is, when I see that stop sign, even though I know nothing can come through that wall, nothing can come here, the stop sign means stop. My character say I will stop. So that's your character is when nobody is looking. What would you do? What would you do? If nobody's watching, that's how you develop your character. And it takes time. I couldn't believe it. I used to run that stop sign. Proud. I was proud of it. I was stopped for what? Nothing can. See how fast I can turn. I knew I couldn't get hit. I'm like, a car can't hit me. So, stop for what? But that was one of the things that was implemented in the program to help us develop character. I think that's pretty clever. It's pretty good. Because I always used to run it.
Can you wait to develop your character? You guys think you can wait to develop it? I mean, we all have character now. We all are characters.
Can you wait to develop?
But it might be some things that need some minor adjustments. Can you wait on that? Before you leave here to go back out, do you think you can wait to work on those things?
No. Develop them here.
You know, as long as you don't persevere, if you give up, it's not going to develop your
At all.
aspects.
What you said? I'm sorry.
Oh, I said, no, you couldn't wait to develop your character, you can modify it as you go.
That's a good one. Anybody else? You think you can wait? Huh?
I'm being more than speak. I mean, I can feel the break. I'm like, I'm 61 years old. And a lot of stuff that I've been through, I can feel the breakthrough. I can feel what I have to work on. And I have no choice right now but to be patient. Wait for it to happen.
It's like, you can stay childish, and this is from experience, you can stay childish and not develop your character that way by acting child.
Yeah. And have age on you and still acting. You see somebody be like, you still never, because I thought I was wrong, that when people got older, it would go away. Like, but that's not true. If people don't develop the character, then I like to use the word character defect. Somebody had a character defect. When you see somebody mess up in an area or something, and you be like, well, what happened? I said, that was just a character flaw that they never developed. They just never developed or allowed it to develop or didn't go through the process of development. So, this is the best
While you're
place.
here, yes, this is the best place to start making those changes. Because I told you how my husband stayed clean on his own for a year. He just did it. His own willpower for a year. Why he did, to prove somebody wrong, but he did it. He could do it. But after a while, he could no longer hold that thing. What was in him, what was burning to come out, came
Yeah.
out. And you have to work on that now. Because
Can't
when you
wait.
leave, you can't wait because it's waiting on you out there. Some things are set up for you to fill.
It's the little minor foxes that spoil the vine, the Bible says. Page 56, it says, though for the day, we are minor in everything but our passions. We're minor in everything but our passion. Whatever we're passionate about doing, negative or positive, we are very major in it. We go to the extreme. You know, some problems be really small, but it seems like Really? That's not really a big deal. You got like two options. Why don't you just choose B? Like A having worked all these years, just you try at least try B. I always tell people at least try the lifestyle of sobriety or living a lifestyle different from the past lifestyle. At least try it. You have never even attempted to try it for a long period of time to see the benefits of it. So at least give yourself a chance.
Speaking of A and B, the reason that we want to tell you you have purpose and that you need to surrender and to visualize vertically and that you must have endurance and that you need to make some minor adjustments because when you leave here, you're going to end up in some situations. And it's going to be some decisions and choices that you guys are going to have to make. And if you hadn't done these things while you're in this facility, while you have people that will pray for you and give you counseling, sound counseling, you want to go out there and you're going to make some decisions the same way as you were making them previously. So this was just like wasted time. Who has A?
Aye.
Read A.
James is 30 days clean at home from rehab. He has friends with Tim. He has been friends with Tim and Craig since grade school. He is eager to go home and show everyone how good he looks and that he is clean. He wants to maintain his sobriety and attends NA meetings randomly, but he hangs out nightly with Tim and Craig. Tim and Craig both use. James states they do not do it around him.
What do you think is going to happen to James? Put your name there. It sounds funny when it's on paper because it's not you at the time. But you got some. He said that was me. That's how I know. But you know that when you leave here, some of those friends and buddies that you hung out, they're waiting on you.
It looks like James is gonna be okay because he's choosing not to hang out. He's finding new friends.
No, not that one. Not, wait, he didn't read that. You getting ahead. And this one, James is hanging out with his old buddies because he's been friends with them forever. They use. He's going to NA meetings randomly, but he's hanging more time with them. He said they don't use in front of him, maybe, or they go in another room. But you know.
Sooner or later.
Right. So what's some adjustments he needs to do? Let's just go there. Change
Good.
who he hang
What
with.
else?
Anything else?
Get a sponsor.
Anybody?
Develop close and personal relationship with God. That's the first.
I don't know if he has one. I didn't write that in there. I don't know. But one thing I do is he needs to change the way he thinks.
Definitely
Because evidently he thinks this is okay.
thinking we'll go back.
Because he can change hanging with those two guys and pick Bob and Joe. And Bob and Joe do the same thing. You know, sometimes you say, I don't hang with them anymore, but then you go hang with people that act just like them.
Yeah, that's.
And you think because I'm not hanging with the people I used to hang out with, I got a whole new crowd, but the whole new crowd is the same exact thing. We do that in relationships. We think this package looks different, but what's inside the package is exactly the same as what we have. So in that case, somebody's thinking needs to be changed. You need to take a look at that. So you have A1?
Yes.
Okay, let's listen to James' name.
James is 30 days clean and home from rehab. He has been friends with Tim and Craig since grade school. He was eager to go home and show everybody how good he looks and that he's clean. He says he wants to maintain his sobriety and attends regularly scheduled NA meetings. He loves his friends, but understands that he cannot hang out with them and maintain his sobriety. Tim and Craig both use. James is building friendships with guys who do not use.
Change.
He gave his son a chance. And you granted, his friends might be telling him, man, you think you're too good to hang with us now? The pressure, right? You talk about peer pressure?
Yeah.
But he gave us, one thing about my husband, when he came home that last rehab, he was very selfish about his recovery.
Yeah, well,
He was, it was some things, I'm like, but what about me? But he couldn't even think about me at that time. He had to do what he had to do to stay clean.
and he means.
It's not about your friends. This was his life. I wanted him to love me, I wanted to, but he couldn't do none of that for me if he couldn't love himself.
It's about you.
B.
Happy me. Connie just started a new job. She's happy she doesn't have to worry about transportation since it is in walking distance. Connie does not like to get up early and takes a shortcut to work every day through the alley past her old hangout. Sometimes she sees people she knows and gives them change. Connie remembers that she used to be the one asking for change. She feels proud of her sobriety and does not look down on others struggling. She sometimes feels the urge to taste, but has managed to stay clean. Connie's old hangout is a crack house.
What's gonna happen to Connie? What's Connie doing? One thing, she's walking past her old hangout.
She's also enabling others by giving money.
We ain't thinking about that, come on now. It was her old friend, she's not looking down on anybody because she used to be the one. Yeah, she used to be the one asking. So she's definitely not thinking about that she's enabling because she's more like, that used to be me.
Yeah.
So she thinks she's doing a good deed because she's clean now. These are my friends.
I used to do that.
But one thing you guys aren't picking out. She said, she don't like to get up early. So she's got a job. So since she doesn't like to get up early, she got to take a shortcut to get to work so she can get to work on time. And the shortcut is past her old hangout. And her old hangout is a crack house.
If she's thinking about it, sooner or later she's gonna obsess about it. Before you know it, she's gonna be used to it.
All because she don't want to get up early.
It all comes from her not wanting to get up early.
So she need to make a minor adjustment. She need to get up early.
Yeah.
She needs to put it in her mind that I got to. I'm not a morning person at all. My husband is. I'm not. It takes me, when I do get up, it takes me a moment to get it together. I'm not that morning person.
I guess it's safe to say you got up at 3 o'clock this morning to be here by 10.
No, not that bad. Not that bad. Not that bad. But Connie has to change her thinking. And she also has to want something a little more. Yeah, she could be proud. You know, my husband used to come home. He ate good while he was away. Would gain his weight back. His skin would brighten up. Like he looked wonderful. And then people run and say, "Oh man, you look good." Because the last time they saw me, looked a hot mess. So after people been calling you names and making you feel bad about yourself, and they start telling you look good, you like that. So you want to go to places and people saw you looking bad. Now you want to see you looking good.
Let them see how good you're doing.
It's not about them. Who cares? They see how good you look.
Yeah.
They still want to call you what they want to call you. When you walk away, they still gonna say, "Oh, that ain't gonna last."
It's a matter of time.
And
Right.
as soon as you go back, they're gonna say, "We already knew. We was just waiting when you was going to do it."
It's not if, but when.
Right. So who has B? There you go. Me too.
Kind of just started a new job. She is happy she does not have to worry about transportation since it is walking distance. Connie does not like to get up early, but she does to give herself more time to walk to work. The long way past the police station. She never runs into people. She used to hang out. She never runs into people she used to hang out with on this path. She feels proud of her sobriety and wants to do whatever it takes to go anywhere but backwards. She fights her urge and reaches out to her responsibility.
Nice.
You see that?
Change the route.
She changed her route. She gives her time. She don't like to get up early, but she getting up early. She taking a long way past the police station because one, she knows she ain't gonna run to an open.
They won't hang it out on that corner.
No, they won't be hanging out here.
You see how she made the adjustments though? She changed the route. She just made a minor adjustment, that's all.
And one thing she did, she get the urge and she reaches out. A lot of mistakes that I see my husband used to make, and then, you know, people that we talk to or friends of ours, you know, when they relapse, they call after the fact.
Yeah.
Why? Evidently, you got the number. So when the thought popped in your head, why you didn't reach out?
Man, that's
Why do it and then call me?
I'm not mad you called, but if you had my number to call in,
First.
when you had the thought, why not say, I said, call him. Yeah. Don't call him. Well,
Why do we call afterwards? You guys gotta give yourself a chance. That's all. These things that we wrote down and had you read. There's nobody I knew personally. It's just examples. But I mean, things like this is gonna happen when you go out there. Like
Yeah.
my husband said, he came home and he's walking home and a bit. Who finds a bag?
whole bag of crap.
Who really? Really? Not hidden,
That
not
was-
over
that
in
was
the
just
corner,
sitting
tucked
there.
somewhere, just on your pad.
That's
And nobody around was looking
it
for
was
it. You know, somebody had to do the thing looking for it.
yeah. Yeah.
Things are like this are going to happen. You have to give yourself a fighting chance to make the right decisions. And you're not going to be able to make the right decisions unless you start developing your character now, working on those things that need to be changed. Now, being honest. You have to be honest. You have to be honest with yourself. This right here is the doctor's office. You got to tell the doctor exactly what's wrong. You can't come in here and take the same medicine the person next to you is taking because that medicine may not work for your condition. The day is going to come, we're going to have to make some decisions. And I promise you, you're going to sit here and say, you know, when that lady and that man was talking, I was talking to my neighbor, I wasn't paying her not a bit of attention. I should have been listening. I should have absorbed some of that. I should have made some changes. I should have took heed.
Because if you don't, I'll guarantee it, if you don't make some changes and repeat the cycle. And the sad part about being in the field, if you will, of people that struggle with substance use disorder is some people are going to go try to do it again, but they're not going to receive the opportunity to do it again, and they're going to die. So that's just the facts. That's just, some people are going to try again, but they're not going to get the do-over. It's over, like it's done there. That's like you're not getting the opportunity. And that's the sad part that you have to realize that out of all the individuals we talk to, we want and pray that everybody will not go back to it, but realistically, some people are just going to say, nah, I'm one more time. And then that one more time is actually going to be the last time. So whoever you are, I pray you really lock it in your head that the changes that you need to make again has to be minor, but you must make the changes, and you can't wait to leave here to do it. You have to start that process now. You can't wait till you get home and then be faced with this dilemma or this high-risk situation to say, I'm gonna change it. No, start changing it now, and then when you're faced with it, you'll start to develop in the area of changing it. So,
Because when you leave here, bills coming,
everything coming.
everything. Bills, maybe where am I going to stay? How am I going to eat? How am I going to pay for this? Those are things that are waiting on you, but that's life.
That's
We
called
all
life.
have to deal with that. People that use and people that don't, we all have to deal with that. That's part of life.
Yeah.
But if you haven't taken care of some things while you're here, that'll be your excuse.
A life experience.
That'll be your excuse of why you just, forget it. No. But if you took care of some things, that might be a little hard and a little challenging, but you'll get through that and you'll be better prepared. So that's all we're saying on that note. I'll take those papers back.
And humility, page 61.
No?
We're gonna run through it. Be thankful. The next tomorrow we're gonna have the service, graduation, and I'm always prayerful that everybody got what they needed. Page 61 says the first test of a great man or woman is their humility. By humility, I do not mean doubt of their powers or hesitation in speaking their opinion, but merely an understanding of the relationship of what they can say and what they can do. Do you wish to be great? Think first about the foundation of humility, because the higher your structure is to be, the deeper must be its foundation. Power is dangerous unless you have humility. You must stay humble. If you ever notice, the higher a building is going to be up that way, they dig that way. They dig down first because the foundation has to be strong. If you're gonna build a big building, you gotta think about that. But humility is everybody say I'm humble and confident. Say I'm humble and confident. The reason why I say that is because you have to be humble and confident. The reason why you have to be humble and confident, I'm gonna give you an example. I'm humble enough to know that God gave me the abilities, the talents, and the gifts, and the anointing to do what I do. But I'm confident enough to know that can't nobody work what He gave me better than me. You get what I'm saying? I'm humble enough to know that I received them, but I'm confident enough to know that nobody can use what He gave me better than me. How can you use? Nobody can use what He gave you better than you. Now, if you let them lie dormant and never use them, then it's nobody to blame. You have to be humble and confident. Humble enough to know that you received them. Confident enough to know that nobody outside of your body can use what you have received. You've been graced to do something. You just have to figure out what you've been graced to do and then use those gifts to your best ability. You do not need every opportunity, but you must maximize every opportunity that is presented to you. When I get opportunities to do something, I don't go chasing for every opportunity. I just need, when I get the opportunity that I have, I maximize it. I give it my all. Just give it your all. The word humility means the state or quality of being humble, freedom of pride and arrogance, loneliness of mind, a modest estimate of one's worth. Who do you know that's humble?
You're wrong.
Said the man wearing a sweater.
Sitting there with a sweater on. That's funny. Oh man, yeah. Remember, don't let your humbleness take away from your confidence, and don't worry about those who mistake your confidence for arrogance. Your confidence sometimes will get mistaken for arrogance. When you're gifted and you're talented in a particular area, and you can just go do it. You ever see somebody that can fix something, and you looking at it, and it's puzzling you, and they looking at you like, well. It should be puzzling to you because the tool you got in your hand is not the one you need for that. Because some people are more gifted at other things. But you would think that person is like being arrogant. No, he's just confident in that particular field. But don't get mad when people mistake your confidence for arrogance. That's actually their problem. And what I mean by a person who mistakes your confidence for arrogance has a problem with confidence or self-esteem. As soon as they see somebody confident, they say they arrogant. Why? Because they have an issue with self-esteem. So when they see you confident, they like, he arrogant. That's not true. There's a fine line between supreme confidence
and that's when you get to know what your purpose is. When you get to know, hey, I'm doing this thing, it feels good, it feels natural to me. If it's like, how do I know this? It's no way. You know that you are operating in your vein and your purpose. So with that, can nobody do this thing like me. You know it.
You know it.
But you may need to work up to that, right? Because you may still be trying to figure out what your purpose is, and you're still trying to understand you. So in that aspect, humility may look a little different, right? Because you said, well, how can I be humble and confident? Well, I don't feel confident about anything. So then you put on the air. How some people walk around, nothing's wrong, yeah, I got it, because they don't want to tell somebody they need help. Well, humility, that's what addiction wants you to do, for one thing. That's its greatest power, is hide and seek. And I have wrote it down, it says, addiction is an illness that doesn't want you to expose it. That's why you always try to hide it.
It's a secret.
If addiction wasn't so bad, you let everybody just know. They wouldn't just find it out by your actions. You would just announce it to the hills. but we all try to hide it first. Addiction's main power comes from denial and isolation. But humility will allow you to seek help by allowing you to, one, admit this thing is bigger than me.
Way bigger.
It will allow you to admit, I got a problem, and it will allow you to ask for help. That's the humility that maybe you may be there, at that level of humility, where, okay, humility does not make you weak. Humility does not mean that you're shameful, or doesn't mean you're guilty. We're not telling you you're nobody by being humble. We're telling you you're actually strong, because it takes a very strong person to say, listen, I'm messing up, I need some help. Everybody loves the pat on the back. Everybody loves adoration and admiration. We all love that. So it takes a strong man to say, I'm messing up. I gotta get some help. I need help. And the only way to do that is to be humble, because if not, your pride will let you keep trying to hide what everybody else are. The only person thinking hiding it is you, because we all know.
Yeah, it's funny because every time it's inside institutions, or not institutions, inside facilities, you know how we have confidentiality. I remember I was talking to someone at my job, and he was like, "Yo, I don't want nobody to know I go to the program." I'm like, "But everybody knew you was using it." I thought it would be like I would want everybody to know I'm in the program, like get help. No, I don't want nobody to know I'm in there. But everybody in the whole town we grew up in knew you was actually using it. So you don't want them to know you actually getting help? No. Okay.
So you have pride and you have false pride. You can be proud and humble at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you ever heard the saying when they say in the like you say pride in a good sense?
Right.
You know how you say, you know, yo, I'm proud. You know, I got pride in a good sense. Like you meaning like I'm proud about this. You know what I mean? But that's like in a good sense. You know what I mean? Not the way we're saying about, you know what I mean?
Just the way it's written here, it makes it sound like pride's a bad thing, you know what I mean?
Pride in a
Freedom
good
from
sense.
pride and arrogance, you know what I mean? I mean, there's different kinds of pride, and, you know, arrogance is arrogance no matter what.
Well,
But
let's
pride, there's different levels of pride, and, you know, you can be humble about it, or you can be.
in the Bible, it says what comes before destruction. Right. So it's not that pride is a bad thing, it's that it's very dangerous.
There it is. It's in there.
Pride can be a dangerous thing. It can be dangerous for you, it can be dangerous for those you love, because why? It won't allow you to correct when you're in error. It won't allow you to admit when you need help or when you're wrong. It won't allow you to take a good look at yourself in the mirror and be honest. It won't. I told you my husband looked a hot mess and he kept telling me he looked good, and I'm thinking, what magic mirror does he have? Because he's a proud man. So he couldn't look and see what I saw. So it's not that pride is a bad thing, because I'm very proud of him. I'm very proud of his accomplishments. This is my husband, I love him, and I'm very proud of him. But I'm humble enough to know that everything he has, everything he's gone through, where he's at right now, he didn't do it in his own power. I know that it was God. I'll never be so prideful that my pride is all in his works. It's all in his works.
That's why we said that minor justice is the one thing, but the major justice will always be your relationship with God.
So that's
Yeah, that's me.
where you go with your pride. Okay?
Let's go to page, let me see where I'm at. Shoot, let's move down. 65. I'm trying to skip down so we can get you out of here. Cause I'm going to that smokehouse on the corner, whatever. I don't know, I just seen that, so I'm going over there. I'm trying to kick them out and get to the bar today.
He's being bad.
Get to the bar grill. 65, it says, one of the lessons that I grew up with was to always stay true to yourself and never let what somebody else says distract you from the goals. And so when I hear about negative and false attacks, I don't invest energy in them because I know who I am. I teach people that no matter what the situation is, no matter how chaotic, no matter how much drama is around you, you can heal by your presence if you just stay within your center. And that means don't let the situation around you make you come out of character. You ever see somebody just going off and everything and you sitting there and then eventually they ignite you, now you into it, and then now you got a headache. Like, dang, if I would have just stayed out of that, stayed within center, that's what I mean about staying within your center. Just stay, you can heal by staying in your center. Don't even get involved. You don't have to. I heard Joel Osteen, he said, his wife actually said this. She said that her husband, a guy was talking to her husband. He was telling her husband all this stuff. And she said her husband was sitting there like, yeah. And after they finished talking, Joel Osteen's wife said, she asked her husband, she said, hey, babe, I sat there and watched this guy talk to you and tell you all this stuff that he was just saying. She said, but you don't believe nothing that man was saying. He said, yeah, I know. I also believe God ain't say I had to correct everybody either. But you see how he just said, because sometimes you can think, I got to help everybody. So he says, I also knew that he didn't believe nothing the guy was saying. He was adamant. He was very positive about what he was saying. And she said, you don't believe that. I know you don't believe it. He said, no, I also believe that God didn't say I had to correct everybody. So he stayed within his center to say, that's not my problem. Every issue is not. If you do that too, when you get all the stuff around you, you don't have to know. Some stuff you can just say, and they say, hold on. I remember one time, tell the truth. Somebody was saying something about me or saying something on social media, whatever, right? Saying some stuff on a comment or something. I never ever seen the comment. She seen it. So she says, yo, you never seen what the guy was saying? I said, no. And I was looking at my own stuff, and I said, I never seen it. So it was so bad that the guy was so mad that I didn't correspond with him, right? I didn't go tit for tat. I never seen it. She seen it. You know, she was going to respond. But I was like, no. So he was so mad that I didn't get in a debate with him that he inboxed me and said, you didn't see the comment I said under your post? And I'm like, he was mad because I didn't respond. And so I said, this is a great opportunity to make him even worse, right? Because I texted back, I said, no, I usually let my girl handle the petty stuff. that hurt him even worse. He was like, oh, because I never see it. But I'm just letting you know, I stayed within my center and I actually didn't see it. She's had to tell me. And I was like, no, I never even seen it. She said, you was just on there commenting to somebody else. I said, I never seen it. But you know how you can stay in your own space. You can do that.
You don't have to react.
You don't have to. No. Some people just got their stuff going on, and you just. That's okay. They're gonna look at you like, why he didn't respond?
And that's part of being humble. We've been away for Thanksgiving in Virginia. The whole family went to Virginia one year, and my husband was struggling, so he was trying then. But we watched a movie. And my mother is her sense of humor, and she's very
so
clever.
Nice.
Yeah,
she's nice. I remember.
So we watched the movie. It was something, I don't know what that movie was called. But anyway, someone was struggling in the movie. And they came home and they stole out of the house and they took the money and they did whatever they had to do, and the family was up for eviction. And I'll never forget, my mom sat there and said, is that what made you do it?
You do that too, right? I said, really? Doing the family picnic movie?
It was Thanksgiving.
I said, that's what you do, right? I said, really?
It's crazy because
Yeah, that's great.
his reaction, he didn't even have to react. I was already floored by her. But what he said next floored me even more. Because I guess the person was doing crack, whatever. Yeah, and my mom said that. Is that what crack meant? In this one, I don't do crack, I do heroin.
She should have had it right.
So the both of them. But it's funny now because when people take jabs or make
Yeah.
sarcastic comments or say something, it goes right by him.
Yeah,
Because he don't even have the man that he is and how he has developed and grown and where he is at this stage in life, he doesn't even react to it.
Yeah.
You don't even have to defend something. What I'm telling you, whatever you've already done, you did it. It's done. You don't have to keep relashing it
Just
if
stay
somebody
humble.
else want to throw it up at you, and you don't have to argue it. But because of that pride, because you have not humbled and said, you have to be humble enough to say, yeah, you have to accept I did do it, and stop trying to defend why you did it, and just say I did do it. Once, if you don't do that, when they flash at you, when they say take little jabs, you immediately raise up and try to defend it. And
Yeah.
now you done caught into something that'll make this emotional warfare with you.
You don't have to. Just stay
You
in
don't
your
have to do
center.
that.
Stand
Be
in your
humble
center.
enough to know I did do it,
Yeah.
and whatever problem they got with it right now is their problem.
Problem, not mine.
Anywhere but back.
Anyway,
Anywhere
go
but
back.
backwards.
Y'all, I'm gonna give y'all the wardrobes of humility. I got this from Kenneth and Gloria Copeland, and y'all can write them down if you want. I'm gonna read them off. And it says, humility thinks of others first. Humility thinks of others first.
Humility is content behind the scenes. That's me. I like that.
Humility is content behind the scenes. Next one is, humility doesn't push its way to the front. Humility doesn't push its way to the front.
Humility willingly submits.
Humility willingly submits. Humility graciously receives, watch this big word, corrections. Humility graciously receives corrections.
Humility doesn't ruin an apology with an excuse.
Ooh, this joker good at that.
I couldn't stand when he would do that.
Good with that.
He wasn't, oh, he wasn't
I
mad.
did it because, yeah, whatever.
I'm sorry I did it, but if you hadn't did
She
this,
said, no, you only said that because you got caught.
Well, I mean,
don't ruin an apology.
with an
But
excuse.
if you're not humble, now then we're giving you some attributes of being humble. So you got to see which one of these you fit in. And if you say, wait a minute, I don't do none of these things, then you better check that, right?
I'm gonna add that.
But don't ruin it up. That's the worst thing you
Don't
can
ruin an
do.
apology.
If you're sorry, you're sorry. Don't try to excuse the behavior.
Humility accepts responsibility and doesn't shift the blame. Humility accepts the responsibility and doesn't shift the blame. That's a good word. There.
Humility is right
Shift.
here.
That was my
I'm
last
gonna
book.
shift the blame on
My
him.
last book is called
It's my- you know.
This is your shifting season. Don't shift the blame. Then the last one is
Humility
makes adjustments. A person who's walking in humility or developing in humility or a person who is humble, they make adjustments because you know it's okay. All right, I got this wrong. I need to do this. I shouldn't have did this. That takes humility. Go for the day. It's not hard to keep up the image we choose. It's not hard to stay yourself. It's easy to be you. With that, I really appreciate all this weekend that we was had to able to be with y'all tomorrow. We will do Sundays and I have a graduation. And again, man, these books and stuff are for you guys. Read the stories and stuff that's in there. There's a whole list of things in there. All that our information on here, like even when y'all leave here, our email, our phone number. Anyway, y'all can always connect with us on our website, social media, and everything. And let us know how you're going. We can take a picture. Says,